we're in a. Oh right, I forgot about this part. So stupid. Oh, I think I'm about to have to
Wait,
beat a boss.
is this where like there is like a rocket in the pyramids or something? Am I remembering that correctly, or am I
Yeah,
thinking of Transformers?
that's yeah. You're absolutely right. But I've got to do Knuckles' boss or Death Chamber
Okay.
first, and then I've got to do the boss fight for Death Chamber, which sucks. King Boom Boo. Um,
Okay. All
and
right.
then I've got
So,
to do the egg golem or whatever. Um, and then I got to go to space.
all right. So, while you focus on finding the bullshit, uh, I will tell a story that you have heard before, but
Okay, cool.
our audience has not.
Bring it on, bitch.
So, okay. So, the year was 2014. No, 2015.
Oh, I know which one this is.
The year was 2015.
Fuck.
Charlie the Unicorn 4 had just
Son
come
of
out,
a bitch.
and it was that underwater Charlie the Unicorn. And partway through, they're talking about like all sorts of random animals. And I think a couple of times they mentioned animals that weren't real. And then they talk about one animal called a narwhal. So I was like, oh, this is the first I've heard of this creature before. And I was like, that's interesting. And then, as it just happened, for some reason, the internet became obsessed with narwhals at this point.
Oh yeah, I remember
Very
that
briefly,
era.
for like a single month, the internet became obsessed about narwhals and started calling them the unicorns of the sea.
I remember that. Man,
So I
I
was
was
like,
18. God.
so I was like, all right, so clearly they're not real animals. Because
Fuck. Son of
when
a
you call something
bitch.
the unicorn of the blank, you would tend to think that that's not a real animal. You to like 2 years ago, I walk into the living room and my mom is watching National Geographic, and she's watching an episode of National Geographic about killer whales, and the narrator was like, "And these killer whales are hunting the narwhals," and I was like, "Wait, hold the fucking phone! What? Narwhals? Like it?" I just could not believe my eyes. Not only was this animal real, but it was also so mundane that it wasn't even the focus of this episode of National Geographic. They were the prey of what was the actual focus, which were killer whales. And
Which means
it
you
just,
spent like what 6 years thinking narwhals were fake?
right?
6 whole years. You are a
And I
grown
was
ass
just
man.
like, I grew up in Saudi. We're not near narwhals.
You've been everywhere though. I can't. Sorry.
I spent
Can I just say I'm gonna fucking cry. I cannot find this fucking key. I'm gonna shit my pants, and that is a threat.
okay, but yeah. So I basically spent several years of life. Basically, spent my entire life not ever hearing about the animal called the narwhal, and then
Sorry.
my first introduction to the animal of narwhal was through the internet because, of course.
Uh,
And then I thought it was not a real animal, and then it turned out to be a real animal. That wasn't even the subject of the video. My mind was just so fucking blown. I was like, this, like, if they were, like, it would kind of be like having an introduction to, like, and there's the dragon, the prey of the lion, and being like, wait, hold the phone. Dragons are real, but you're not gonna fucking talk about these magical fucking fire breathing dudes.
oh my god. Kill me. Actually, please don't kill me.
I will not kill you. I refuse.
I was more talking to like the game, but son of a bitch. Okay. Eat my ass. Okay. Sorry.
But yeah. So that's the story of how I didn't know narwhals were real.
Congratulations. Now you know. Where
Yeah.
is this key? Oh my god. Sorry.
Did you find it?
Yep,
Yay!
got it. While I'm here, I'm going to check this shit out.
Check that shit out.
This level fucking sucks. And so does
It looks like it fucking sucks. I am very glad that I'm not playing.
The Parallel Rouge episode has a robotic sentry that flies around the building, and if it spots you, it kills you.
Oh, wow.
Sucks. Hate.
That's so weird.
Shit! Okay.
Like, why would that be a mechanic?
Because all the dark levels are supposed to be a little bit harder.
Okay, fair.
Okay, here we go.
Alright.
It wasn't this way. Fuck. I keep getting animals.
Okay. I will tell another story while you are...
You can just, like, start talking.
You mention that every time I do that.
Yeah, because you always do that.
Okay, so... when I was young, there was a game on the PlayStation 2 called Final Fantasy 12. And I fucking loved that game. It was such an interesting game. And it had some weird mechanics. At one point early in the game, it has a system called the Gambit system, where basically you can preset certain actions to run without your input.
Okay.
If certain conditions are met. So, like, if an ally is below 30% health, you can tell one character to cast a healing spell on any ally that's below 30% health.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, or cast Fireball to fire weak enemies, etc., etc., etc. A whole bunch of conditions and all that stuff. Very early on in the game, I had actually set up my Gambit system so well that I literally just put down the controller, walked to the kitchen, made a sandwich in the middle of a boss fight, and came back, ate my sandwich, won the fight without touching a single button.
Jesus Christ. Ah, fuck, I stand in fire. Damn it. I
can't believe that fire is real.
I'm staying... Oh, I didn't mean to get the hint. Damn it. I'm staying with my mom while we get the apartment sorted out, because by the time it was my move-out date, they still hadn't processed my application, and they still haven't. Which is, I guess, fair, because, like, this is a really cheap apartment that I'm hoping to get. But, like, I would really love it if I knew I could live somewhere, especially by myself. So, I'm staying with my mom. Why is it only in this spot? And her dogs are very loud and large. So, every now and then they go off. Alright, it's this way.
Okay. So anyway, okay, so now that are you done talking about?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, all right.
Weird.
I just wanted to like double check. I don't want to do that thing where I'm like, fuck that noise, down to the shit that I was talking about. You know, but okay, yeah. So, since you're done, I will continue my story, because beating the boss without touching the controller was not actually the point of that story. What instead that I wanted to discuss was how, because Final Fantasy 12 had the system where it had like a license board system where you could spend like experience points to acquire abilities on this board, and different characters started off in different areas of the board.
Okay.
But all characters could, in the original version, because they had made a re-release a couple years ago, and in that version, there's a class system that didn't exist in the original. But on the PlayStation 2 version, the class system didn't exist, and you could just like freeform all of your characters to have similar abilities. So I had all of them have healing abilities and revive abilities and stuff like that because that's just how I play. And then I came across, and then at level 40, and I remember this very clearly because uh, I ended up fighting a side boss that I wasn't supposed to meet for another 40 levels.
Oh my god.
I ran across what was called an Esper of Death, as my entire party was level 40 and this Esper of Death was level 80. And I was like, whoops. And in some boss fights, once you start them, you can't get out. And this was one of those boss fights. So I
Right.
was like, well, shit, let's fight this thing. And for 3 hours, what I did,
Penny.
because Final Fantasy 12 isn't a traditional, what's it called? Turn-based combat
Right.
game. It has like an action mode where you can tell a character to do a certain action, and that action takes a little bit of time before they perform it.
Okay.
So what I did was and because using the system, you can pause the game for a little bit, set an action, and then unpause and let the action happen before pausing and setting other actions and like
Okay.
queuing other actions like that.
Oh,
And
thank
so
God.
I spent 3 hours having one party member die, another party member reviving the first party member that had died, and then my third party member dying in the next hit from the boss.
Oh
And
my God.
then it would be like the first character reviving the third character while the second character was dealing damage, and because you could only have three characters out at a time.
Right.
And eventually, and sometimes occasionally what this boss would do was it would do this thing called X Zone, which would remove your character from combat entirely. But since you could swap out, you couldn't revive this character, you couldn't heal this character in any way. There was no way to get this character back,
Okay.
except apparently through just sheer amount of waiting time. And usually X Zone is supposed to last long enough that your character doesn't come back until you reach a save point.
Mm-hmm.
But this boss battle took 3 hours, and so eventually the X Zone wore off of some of my characters, and I would be able to bring them back into play.
Oh.
And eventually, I beat the Death Esper
Oh my
after
God.
3 hours of harrowing pause, set actions, unpause, pause, set actions, unpause, pause, set actions, unpause.
I would be crying by then. Like, no joke. Like, if it took me 3 hours, I would be sobbing. I would think that I was gonna die. Okay.
And I was so proud of that achievement. I was so happy. And I thought, I could do if I can beat a level 40 Esper, I can do anything.
Oh no.
And so I went to this like dangerous area out in the desert, and they were like, "Oh, beware! Dangerous creatures lurk beyond this border, whatever." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Ah, I could fucking handle it." And then it turned out there was a level 120 T-Rex.
There's T-Rexes in Final Fantasy?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
I do not know anything about Final Fantasy.
They're not called T-Rexes, but they're called something like Saurians or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never played a Final Fantasy game in my life, so...
15 games. There's a 16th one announced, and they're all super different from each other.
Yeah.
Stuff. So Yeah, there's
Okay,
also
okay.
like zero continuity between Final
Awesome.
Fantasy games.
Oh my god,
So
no
like
way.
you don't need to play Final Fantasy 6 to know what Final Fantasy 7 is about, etc.
Right.
Which is actually a really cool system. I think uh, that it allows even though there is like similar mechanics between games sometimes. The general feel of the world can be very very vastly different from game to game, and so it allows uh, creativity to flesh out. Unlike the like 600th sequel of Call of Duty, which is
True.
just like shoot people again, but with guns that look 5% more realistic this time.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the T Rex. So this level 120 T Rex existed out in the desert, and I was like, I'm gonna fight this bitch. I'm going to. Apparently, it's the highest level character. It's the highest level enemy in the game,
Oh, fun.
and I was still like level 40. This was like right off the heels of the death of the Esper of Death, and I was like, I can fucking conquer anything.
Oh god.
So I went out, and then you get this like cutscene where the sandstorm comes in, and the T Rex walks out of the sandstorm, and you can't escape.
Mm.
Whatever. I'm like, all right, I've fucking got this handled. If I can beat the Esper of Death, who can X zone my characters, this T Rex will be no issue. The T Rex had AOE attacks,
He had
so
what?
area of effect attacks.
Oh, okay.
So within 3 seconds of the battle, all of my characters died at the same time.
Ah, son of a bitch.
So yeah, so I
Oh no.
cannot do that. Oh
Yeah,
no!
that does not sound easy.
Yeah,
Being
so
cheesy.
I was like, all right, cool. And then I moved on with my life. And then the worst thing happened.
The worst thing? You
Uh,
shat your pants?
no,
Oh.
even worse.
Oh god. What
The
happened?
disc got scratched,
Oh.
and I couldn't play it
That is always
anymore.
so sad.
And I got so far into that game, and
Oh.
I don't know if I will ever be able to recreate the feeling of beating that level 80 Esper of Death as a party of level 40 characters.
Right.